Never before in all our history have these forces been so united against one candidate as they stand today. They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
The needs of working families in the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
It's the end of humanity. I gotta rewrite this song. We're coming close, everybody. What a great way to start the show, huh?
You're such an upper, John.
I know. Hi, everybody. Good morning. I didn't get a chance to blast this out, but it looks like we have a bunch of people here already. And we have a lot of good things to talk about, not just the end of humanity. Some actual stuff that might happen that's good before then. We have a full crew today. I've got, one bearded German, another German, but it's Markus. We'll give him a slide for that. And the lovely Laura Livengood. Hi, everybody. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. What do you mean, but it's Markus?
Well, that you get an exception, for the beardedness, because you've been with us a long time, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You do other stuff, so thanks. Björn has joined us to talk about, you guys are going to tell everybody about the Mother Moody issue, right? What's going on?
Yeah, Angela Merkel is, she is on the way to exit,
That's, and I don't know if that's good or bad. We're going to find out from the Germans, but you guys got to wait. That'll be later in the program. Mm-hmm. See, how's that, like teasing, like the pros do. And Laura Livengood is just here to say hi and tell us what's going on with the races and stuff.
That's all I do. Just here to say hi.
But there's really some cool stuff to talk about, and I'm really feeling self-conscious about doing the shows now because of the conversation I had with Mike Wassenaar, and knowing that there is potentially people that actually do professional, traditional network broadcasting that could watch this program. Just know this isn't indicative of what we regularly do. That's all I want to say. I try to make that clear all the time, but this is not the good stuff. This is the Saturday show.
It is. It's the behind the scenes of the good stuff.
It is.
Is this? And I like it. I like that. And I think that's why. Yeah, I think that's why people are rabid. Small group of followers enjoy it.
That's true.
Family.
That's true.
We're family. We all know each other, and they get to be a part of the conversation, and that's important.
That's it.
That's true. And hi, everybody. We got Oz and Darcy and listener Schultze and Melissa, Kendra. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being, I don't know who I missed. At home. Darcy's showing up as double peoples. I see what we're doing there.
Yeah, he switched over.
Yeah, I see. Well, all right. So let's get on with it because we have a lot to talk about. Like I said, we got, the elections coming up. And let's see. Am I loud enough? I want to make sure I'm loud enough today. I was listening to, I try to listen to old broadcasts, and I'm like, geez, I'm really quiet compared to other people. And I shouldn't be. I've got a big mouth. I should be. I used to do presentations, conferences, and I didn't need a microphone. You put me in a 500-person room, I'd just talk. So anyway, Sarah Smith running in Washington State against Adam Smith, who is a complete corporate tool, takes more than $200,000 from the defense industry alone. He's fully backed by their Democratic Party up there, which is not as progressive as you would think for Washington. All right, there's a lot of corporate people in Washington, and Sarah Smith does not have the support of the party, which sucks. She has had to claw and fight her way to basically making this a match. And now Adam Smith is worried. And so his top donors, Microsoft, Amazon, Northrop Grumman, just to name a few, have dumped a shit ton more money into his campaign. He's running over $1.2 million for this Washington District 9, right?
Wow.
It's that's a senator's,
that's a senator budget.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like the Oregon governor's race, which also has a shit ton of money dumped into it, which is wrong. Thanks to Phil Knight, dumping money into. We'll get into that conversation. But anyway, my point is Sarah Smith, right? Bernie Kratt. She's endorsed by every progressive organization there is in Washington, and she deserves this role. So if there's anything you can do for her, I'd ask you to do it, please. Donate some money, or if you're up there in Washington, please canvass or phone bank or text. Or you can do all that stuff no matter where. They really need that to get out the vote for her. I want to see her win and get rid of this guy. The other person I want to talk about is Charles Mon. And I should have grabbed a picture of Charles Mon, but this is better. Charles is an example of, is a perfect example of a grassroots down ballot campaign that is a massive success because of a very small amount of dedicated people. And those people know who they are. All right. And I can't even name them all, but Ron Gibbons is one of them. Charles, I'm on this email chain. I've done nothing. Okay. I've chimed in every once in a while. Hey, Charles, why don't you come on our show? Because that's about all we've had Charles on, right? This group of people, like 10 people, maybe 15, I don't know. They're out there every day canvassing. Ted Cruz is here, excuse me. They're out there canvassing. They're out there phone banking. They're posting all over in Twitter and social media. They were pushing for endorsements. They got all the newspapers in Corvallis. And we're talking about a Corvallis City Council role. I'm not talking about anything huge here. But it's so important, right? We're talking less than $2,500 raised for a massively successful campaign that is a small version of the 99% versus corporate interest, right? But it shows you what can happen with a tiny amount of money and a small group of dedicated people to put a progressive into power in a place where now that, and obviously the race hasn't happened yet. I'm hoping Charles wins, and based on the fact that he's got the endorsement of almost the entire town of Corvallis, I think he's got a good chance, okay? But the fact is that this is how we do it. Because now Charles has an opportunity to show that he's going to put his walk the talk. And then hopefully we will support Charles as he grows as a public servant. And later on, maybe we'll be talking to Senator Charles Mon or Governor Charles Mon or whatever the fuck. All right. But this is how we do it. I was just so impressed, so inspired by watching their group do their effort and see it work. So congratulations, Charles. I know you haven't won yet, and I don't want to jinx it, okay? But you're proving you're doing the Bernie way, and just thank you, and thank you to everybody that worked on Charles' campaign, because I just thought it was awesome. This is a beautiful editorial endorsement from the Gazette-Times, and I just want to read it. Homelessness is the key issue in Ward 2, in which a promising political newcomer, Charles Mon, faces off against Catherine Mader, who served on the council in the 70s. Mader was one of the leaders in the fight against a proposal to combine services for the homeless in a combined location on 2nd Street. Mon has a different view of the issue. He is the manager of the Hotel Julian affordable housing facility, also located downtown. We believe Mader's adversarial role in battling the 2nd Street proposal would make it difficult for her to help forge the sort of citywide partnerships we need to make progress on homelessness. We give the edge in Ward 2 to Mon. And that's the difference between the 99% and corporate interest right there in your two candidates. Right? And the fact that people give a shit enough to help Charles get elected shows you that we can make a difference in our tiny little towns and watch that blossom out across our state. Right? Gives me hope. Yeah. Can we do it in 12 years? Probably not. But that's not the main point. Anyway, thank you, Charles. The next big thing I want to talk about is the interview with Mike Wassenaar. How many of you got a chance to watch that? Yeah, Melissa, it is a great endorsement. Hey, Jelly Love. If you did not get a chance to watch this, please do. He was phenomenal, and I was very humbled by having a conversation with him. Mike is the president and CEO of the Alliance for Community Media, and they're an organization that I didn't even know existed, and it turns out it's an organization with a whole bunch of uphill medias. a whole bunch of organizations just like us, except they're using traditional broadcast methods. And that's, as we've discovered, as the internet is being censored, as our content is being, taken away. Markus was talking about how he can't even find good songs for the upcoming elections, right, Markus? Because so many things, anything is censored, right?
Absolutely right. Yes, it was a pain in the ass to find good songs for Tuesday this time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, and you could see the relation that anything politically motivated was being censored, right?
Yes, it was remarkable that all songs about a revolution or voting, they are banned to play to stream in the US and a lot of other countries, And this tells me something, that it is not intended that people get the music to get false thoughts, maybe it is
right.
It is a kind of censorship. Clearly.
And by default, anything that runs them that gets banned gets neatly taken off of the airwaves as well at the same time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Good, Jilly Love. Glad you filled out your ballot. Just looking at some of the comments. It's frightening what's going on over here with that. It really is. It's no different than a book burning, right? We're going to lose the internet. It's basically what's happening. And the internet is not really that effective of a method in reaching people that get their messaging from traditional television. And that's really the group of people that we're trying to reach, right? And I hate to say it, but it tends to be older generations, right? Older people that aren't accessing information on the internet, or that don't know how to source out their own information on the internet, which is really the difference between the older and the younger generation, with Gen X kind of being right in the middle there, right? And what I learned was that, so there's this vast network of these local access channels. Some of them, depending on where you are in the country, some of them are very robust and they're very active and they're doing amazing things with civics and engagement in the community. And apparently New England and up there in the Northeast, there's a lot of robust activity. Vermont, Bernie Sanders, go figure, right? Out here, Oregon supposedly has a good, robust system. And in Salem, 40 minutes away from me and the heart of our political activity, right, there is a CCTV, Salem. They have two full professional green screen studios. And for $150 a year, we have full access to the facility. I spoke with the executive director, Alan Bouchon, and he is excited about working with us to bridge the internet real-time engagement broadcasting that we do with what they do and their top-notch professional production that gets broadcast on actual channels on cable internet. Now, or cable on like Comcast, the channel 90, whatever, 95 to 98, whatever, insane numbers they give us for channels, right? So that's the first part. We have allies, and we're going to be working with the Salem production facility, the Medford production facility, other facilities around Oregon. There's facilities across the West Coast, and we're going to reach out to them. We're going to become members of the Alliance for Community Media. Their next annual conference is in Portland next year. We put in to do a presentation, but I don't even care if we do that. We're just going to be there. And what we need to do, progressives, is we need to find these local access channels. We need to support them, and we need to inject our media into these channels. We need to create programming that makes democracy not boring, right? That makes it engaging, that bridges these two worlds. And then the big gap that I see, and I'm kind of jumping way far ahead here because there's a lot to talk about, but the big gap that I see is that there's no dollars being spent to advertise or promote these local access channels on commercial networks. And that is something we need to change. Because if we can promote the shows that we produce on these local channels, and we can promote it on Channel 2 and Channel 9 and Channel 6 or whatever, right? I mean, we can buy these ad spends. 15 grand, not a lot, really, for local channel buy. We get people to watch our shows. We get people to recognize that local access exists, and then we can grow these channels and expand them and compete with other networks And this is what we can't do on the internet, right? So there's a massive opportunity there. The Salem group, the Salem production facility is actually starting a full power FM radio station next year, which gives us an avenue for podcasts. And Laura and I can finally do the Rock Yacht show we've been talking about for 3 fucking years. Right, Laura?
Yeah, that was the most exciting part.
Absolutely. That's it. For me, it's just getting down to what I really wanted to do, which was doing a laid back DJ show late night.
I always wanted to be an FM DJ.
That's right. That's right. So
Yeah.
and I don't know if you noticed, but Mike Wassenaar has a fantastic radio voice, and that's where he started. He started doing radio in high school, and I could just tell. I was like, oh, dude, yeah, jeez, he's got that voice. I got a radio face. He's got a radio voice. Let's put it that way.
You've got a good voice, John.
Oh yeah, whatever. Thank you very much. So anyway, this is amazing stuff. All this is amazing stuff, and I'm very excited about it. Where's my 4 shot? Get you all back in here. And so stay tuned. We got also that's bottom line is we'll be rocking into 2019. Building these connections, we'll be able to support candidates. We'll be able to really do a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. With your help, everybody. With your help.
Yes.
With the Germans' help. Right.
Do you have any clips to run from the
No.
interview?
I was you guys should watch the interview. There was so much I wanted to say about it, and I feel like I talked too long about it anyway. We're going to move into the other news. But
Okay. There's a link in the description, right?
Yeah, all the links are in the description. You can watch the interview. He said so much. I can't even. Yeah, it's impossible for me to even. I'm forgetting shit. There was so much that I learned, and there were times where I'm like trying to do the interview and I'm trying to be the host, and he's saying something, and my brain just freezes. I'm like, really? Oh shit! You got to keep talking, dude. And it's like, forget what I was talking about. It's like, oh, keep interviewing. Don't just ponder what he said. But it's huge. The implications for what we can do are huge. And the first thing I suggested was the Get to Know the DPO show, because it's in Salem. We can bring sitting reps right there. Come on to our professional studio and let's change the format of this show so that we reach out in both directions. I mean, we can really do some amazing things. And that's telling Larry, to make it not boring. And Laura and Marcus, you'll remember these thoughts from years ago when I was more excited about things.
Yeah.
I want to do game shows. You can do Celebrity Jeopardy, where you're talking about civics or something. It's civics-oriented questions, with occasional bullshit thrown in there for fun. But you pair, the celebrity is the sitting rep, so you pair them with a constituent, right?
Yeah, and all would be around political questions,
Yes, exactly. Political Family Feud would be interesting.
Yes.
We could do all sorts of. We could just. I want to produce democracy, right?
Yeah.
Let's take what entertainment television does right and use it for good, not spinning a narrative.
It could be like Schoolhouse Rock.
Right? Yeah. Oz, thanks for that $5. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
We asked 100 constituents.
Yeah. Who wants to be a representative? We could do,
Absolutely.
and then in the end it's a GoFundMe and they get all the money to run. I don't know. You could just
win your campaign money.
Of course, that brings to mind another one. Who needs a kidney? And you could have GoFundMe. But anyway,
okay.
You could take that in a bad way because we could do other good things. But the fact of the matter is, we can work with this facility. We can work with the network across the nation. It's not expensive, and the resources are exactly what I've been freaking out about that we can't get in the Majestic or from Corvallis directly. It's like now I don't even need to worry about that. So that's huge. That's huge news. And again, you guys find your own local access out there and let me know who they are so we can reach out to them, right?
Yeah.
All right. Pharma Industries, Utah drug price fixes sad. This was the next thing. Here's how we're fixing things with capitalism in the United States. So instead of working towards Medicare for all solution, instead of doing what the citizens want, Utah, because I don't know, It's cheaper for them to send their employees to Mexico to buy prescriptions than it would be to pay the prices they are forced to pay in the United States of America. That's an outrageous cost. And that's what people argue. You're like, you can't be serious. It can't really be that expensive. Yes. Yes, it is. So that's pretty sad.
Is that legal?
Yeah. Sure. Why not? Bernie Sanders did it in Vermont.
Yeah, Canada. Yeah, they go up to Canada.
Bernie wouldn't do anything illegal, so.
No.
That's just insane. Patrick Stearns, I believe was the Independent or Green Party. I'm sorry, I forget.
Independent Party.
Dropped out of the race for governor because Phil Knight keeps dumping millions into advertising for Newt, and I got to say, this is a governor's race with a shit ton of money dumped into it, and Governor Kate Brown, you've got a lot of people backing you simply because we don't want Newt, and they've made that very publicly clear, right? Because you're not the progressive you claim to be, and we're going to talk about that. It's frightening the amount of money that's being dumped into this race.
Yeah, I think all in all, it's about 30 millions right now.
Holy shit. That's just a ridiculous amount of money. Whoever's spending the ad money for the Democratic Party for Kate, you're sucking. Whoever you've hired to make ads sucks. I don't know where you're coming up with your messaging, but it's terrible. I've seen a few. I've seen a lot more Newt Bueller ads, and I hate to say it, but if I were undecided, I'd probably swing towards Newt just based on the content of his advertising. You really need to take some lessons for Republicans and learn how to ad. You don't do it well. But I want to thank Patrick for dropping out of the race, throwing his support towards Kate Brown. Here's what we've learned about Democrats like Kate, is that they're malleable. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to reform Kate, hopefully, or if we don't see that she's working towards more progressive resolves, right? She hasn't even taken a stand on Jordan Cove, right? I want Kate to follow the platform. Right? If we see that she's not, then we will start honing somebody to run against her as a progressive next time, right? That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yep.
And let's see, there's a lot of talk about that.
I think the most important point is why it is essential that Patrick Stearns left the race, because the article says that 4.4% of the total number of registered voters are in his independent party, and as the race is pretty close right now, this could be an essential vote, if the independents would vote for Kate Brown in this case. There
you go. Yeah, there's the heart of the matter right there. Mm-hmm. And could you imagine if they blamed him for swinging the vote? Yeah. So.
Yeah. There's a similar thing in Arizona. The Green Party candidate dropped out.
Oh yeah.
And backed the Angela Green.
Oh, cool.
Green. And she's she's backing Kirsten Sinema.
Well, I mean, we appreciate them doing that. Really do. It's and I hope all the Dems acknowledge that, because that's a whole lot of effort in running a campaign and handing all those resources or asking your people to go there just to stop the evil, which is truly what we're trying to do here: stop a Nazi regime from doing a full takeover. Let's not kid ourselves, right? Yeah. I think there was a politician, Tom Fegan, on Facebook posted that a politician, I don't know if she's a candidate or a sitting representative in his state, said publicly that she hopes Trump gets assassinated. And a lot of people were like, oh my God, how could you say that? Sitting rep, my God, she should be fired. She should be this, should be that. People are dead because of Trump. People are dead because of Donald Trump. People are dead because of his administration. Children are in cages because of Donald Trump. I wish he gets assassinated. Millions of people in the United States wish that the man is assassinated. It's probably not going to happen. But to wish it, to think it, to say it is absolutely patriotic. Absolutely fucking 100% patriotic, in my view. In my view, which is another piece of this equation. It's just my opinion. Just like her statement is just her opinion. All right?
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean, but I think it's as a representative, it is not clever to come with this, you know. And
No.
on the other hand, what would happen, you know, if this assassination would take place and Trump was killed, you know, what would this cause at the next moment, you know?
Well, it would.
The right wingers, and all the Trumpsters, they would be on the fences, you know. They would arm themselves. I could not imagine what would happen at this
We'd
moment.
have President Pence.
We'd have President Pence, whatever.
Yes.
He's just as bad.
He's also a big shot, I know. Yeah,
But listen. I'm not advocating it. Okay, I can think it all I want. Okay?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say it all I want. That's freedom of fucking speech. Okay,
Yeah,
we have a president that is a Nazi. We have an administration that are Nazis. I'm not gonna toy around with the word there. What they are doing, the fascist things they are doing, stopping buses on the street full of black people to keep them from voting, censoring the internet, sending military to the troops, telling them it's okay to shoot people. You know, he's the president of the United States in title. You don't get to do that. And if you're going to be a representative of this country, and I'm just going to say this to everybody. Now's the time to show your spine. Now's the time to stand up for morality against this administration. So that is, you know, they're going to rise up anyway, folks. We know this. They're going to rise up anyway. We are going to have to confront the racism and the uprising of Nazis in this country, and I don't think voting them out is gonna do it. Okay, they're not gonna go away. They've been given a spotlight. They have a leader. They have resources. They have power. They have the backing of the police. They have the backing of major corporations. They have the backing of newspapers. Do you really think after November 6th they're going to bow down quietly? We are headed towards a confrontation, and that confrontation will most likely involve violence one way or another. Hopefully it's not long sustained.
I'm absolutely with you, John, you know, but I see the danger, and Darcy says it in chat, Trump would become a murderer, you know, and it should not, the trigger should not come from a Democrat or from a representative at all to cause another civil war, you know, and in my opinion, this could easily end in a civil war.
So I agree with you. The trigger came when Heather Heyer died. The trigger came when Nazis were marching in the streets. The trigger came when he endorsed that violence. The trigger was pulled. Why do we not think the trigger hasn't been pulled? I guess to me, I'm like, it's really, they started it. They did. But listen. The point is, the administration needs to be taken on in a more forceful manner. Our votes,
Absolutely.
Our votes are going to count for what they count for, but it's not going to be enough.
Absolutely, and here I completely agree with you. I think it is time for a long time. It is time that the Democrats would grow some balls,
yes,
you know, and play the same game the Republicans are playing for decades, you know, and and I don't see it, you know. They are still trying to appease and bullshit, and this doesn't help against fascists. And we are dealing with fascists right now.
We are dealing with fascists, and listen.
All on the same team, you know. They're not the corporate Dems and corporate Repubs they're all together. And the Dems are not going to come out against it, and the Repubs are in the majority. So
what do we do? Germans who understand fascism way better than I do. What do we do? Seriously, that's been my problem. Is I'm
John. If I would have the answer, you know, I would go and go for the American citizenship, because when I could present you the solution, nobody else has, you know. Yes, it would be great, you know.
We do what we do. We do what we're doing now. We find the people are going to take over and get them in slowly but surely, and that's all. And I wish that we didn't have to be going so slowly because we don't have.
Yeah, it takes time. The grassroots movement. You know, we gotta develop a complete different thinking, and this takes time. And the time is a pressure. You know, because if in the end we don't have that time anymore. Mm-hmm. That's the problem, and I don't have a solution for this.
Right. I don't. And listen, you know, I've lost the respect of a lot of Bernie people for talking about violence a lot because it's a conflict I have inside of me. I don't know what to do with the rage. I don't know what to do with my anger. And it's you know, I spend a lot of time looking at content coming across, you know, the net from around the world doing this. I don't know if you guys realize just how often I'm in this box, and you know, if you think of the last 4 years, how many broadcasts and how much content we put out, right? So I've consumed a fuck ton of information about just how horrible our government is and just how horrible Donald Trump and this administration are. And it's really difficult. And then going back and learning how horrible Barack Obama was and Bill Clinton was and George Bush was. It's just like too much. It's overwhelming. It's too much. And then you add on to that we've got 12 years left to really get our shit together with climate. You add on to that the fact that mainstream media is not even reporting that, right? And then we're being censored. And then we have to struggle for fucking dollars just to get any information out. And then we have to fight the fucking Democratic Party, the group of people that's supposed to be our allies. And then I have to fight the goddamn Democratic Party in my own state that's supposed to be 56% progressive that isn't. Then I have to fight a governor that I don't want to take out of office because I don't want this douchebag to come in, but she's really not the governor we want anyway. You add all this stuff up together and you start to say, it's time to rise the fuck up. The economic disparity in this nation is far beyond what the French Revolution was started over, what the Russian Revolution was started over, what the American Revolution was started over. Yet for some reason, we're so fucking passive in this country. We're so hopeful that we can work this out with civil discourse while we are being murdered in the fucking streets. And we've got a clock ticking on our climate. So forgive me if I jump to violence. But it appears to be about survival. And I don't know where to go. And that is where we are at right now in the United States of fucking America. That is where we are at. Moving on to other things like climate. Frost growing season. That's not a fun chart. Everybody else noticing that we're getting a longer growing season? I am. That's 14 days of extra growth for me down here. It's Eugene. I still got ripe figs on my trees. In a way that's kind of cool. In a way that's frightening. You know?
Yeah.
It is.
It's like having spring, but with fall light, and it's very confusing down here. We've had a month of days in the 70s and 80s and nights in the 50s, which it should be 10 degrees lower than that at least.
Right. And so the Germans are having fall right now. Right.
We're having fall right now, but normally our falls are colder and cold and with a lot of rain. And in the past year, we had one day we had rain where it rained constantly, and all other for months we have nothing. We talked about our river, our Rhine River. It is meanwhile it became difficult to keep up the support by ship, because they cannot go through to the river anymore, because it's too low. And it's another thing we are seeing here, and it's another explanation with the hot summer we had, which explains the rise of the Green Party in Germany, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although at the same time you say the rise of the Green Party, it's also the demise, because aren't they being enveloped by the Democratic Socialists? Or I got that backwards. There's something about the Democratic Socialists over there.
No, the Green Party is a party who is doing this their thing on their own.
But are they have they
were-
grown? Are they now a coalition with?
No. They were in a coalition with the Social Democrats.
Okay.
How long is it ago, Björn? How long is that ago? Over a decade.
2005.
2005, yeah. And they were in government, indeed, and they are now in the opposition here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, they should be really popular, you would think.
Yeah, they're getting more and more popular here.
Here too, actually. And the Green Party, if we talked to Jill Stein, they're building a bench. They're doing exactly what Charles Mann is doing, right?
Yeah.
They're working on those lower races so that they can rise in power. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I see you're having a good conversation there in the chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Please share if you can. When just to tie the last things together, when I talk about hope, when I talk about what can we do, the thing that keeps me sane is knowing that possibly we'll be able to inform the electorate to make some progress. That's about it. So this and you guys and this family keeps me sane. Thank you so much. What do we want to talk about? Are we on the last week? Are we on the last week in progressive or on UHM, or where are we at? Jeez.
Yeah. This would be the next topic, and we talked already about Mike Wassenaar and Oregon. I did not watch the other two shows because of my private stuff I have to do, and
yeah. Thoughts and prayers for Marcus's mom, everybody, please. Yeah. She could use them. She has good health care, but she's not feeling well. I feel bad for her. All right. Well, last week on... Yeah. We had... actually, it was more of a measure review on Progressive Oregon. They didn't talk about candidates. We're going to talk about candidates tomorrow. And I need to actually make a card for that. And, yeah. Tomorrow is going to be the review of what's coming up on the election night, right? Because we've got election night coverage, which is going to be huge. And... kind of reminding me of the old days with Scott, actually. It'll be Larry Taylor and Ashley Terry taking the place of what Scott used to do by himself. So that should be fun. And they'll be on a riser. But this I'm sorry, I get off track here. This was last week, and they reviewed all the measures. What was awesome about this, and I should have pulled a clip. I didn't. That's all right. You guys should watch that. You should watch this because there's a great discussion between someone who's pro 102 and somebody who was against 102. And 102 was a measure that I initially thought sounded fine, and it still sounds okay. But now that I've heard somebody speak against it who is actually living in the kind of housing that this bill is attempting to create, I think twice. So it was a really good discussion. It's the kind of discussions I want to see happen more about these ballot measures, and that more, people need to have that, be aware of this content. Reading what it says in on your ballot pamphlet about the measure is not good enough. Even reading the pros and cons from people talking about it isn't good enough. Hearing somebody provide testimony one way or the other, that's pretty powerful stuff, right? And so I saw, good and bad things both ways. At this point, it changed my view. I voted no on 102 because I believe what somebody living in the house has to say about the way it is, as opposed to somebody who's writing legislation who has never been in that situation ever. Right? Their intentions are good, but they have no clue the reality of what they're creating, and so that changed my view. Anyway, it was a good discussion. Larry and Betsy did a great job on that. And thank you, Betsy Cunningham, for, kind of opening our eyes to the other side of that, really. Interesting, though, I posted a video that was posted by Valdez Bravo because I was like, hey, Valdez, video. We like Valdez, Democratic Party, but it's pro 102. And we ran that on our channel, and it got like 1,600 views. So we did a lot of pro 102 content, and then this show. So we've kind of been fair and balanced, I guess, by accident. That was, that was one of the most interesting things. I'm just going to jump to this real quick. That was one of the most interesting things that Mike said in our conversation. Is he had an interesting argument against the fairness doctrine. And he said Japan is looking at getting rid of theirs and that they base theirs on ours. And I thought, how horrifying. But that's quite, you have to listen to what he has to say about it. I understand why. I don't think it works with corporate controlled media. I think we'd have to have some laws in place. We have to do something different about the monopoly of media. But I get the point. So interesting. I mean, it's just so much information out of him. I was humbled, very humbled. All right. And mass meetings, organizing. This was the last of the Roberts Rules. I want to thank Larry Taylor for taking the time to become a parliamentarian and take all the tests and to teach everybody some of the basics. This is how we control the Democratic Party at a meeting. All right. The stuff he taught in mass meetings organizing is how do we organize ourselves, right? Let's say we get to that point where we're like, fuck it, we're going to march on D.C. We could use Robert's Rules to organize our asses. All right. And that's basically what we're learning here. Or we can use it to organize a convention, or use it to organize a group of people who wants to start a new caucus or a new committee or a new group of people or a new fucking political party, if we could even do that. Very powerful stuff. It was very powerful stuff. So yeah, there's last week. Laura, any comments or feelings you want to share with us on that? You just hanging in chat? No? Right.
I'm just hanging. I'm hanging in chat, and I was wondering if you were going to mention our possible upcoming guests.
I was going to hold that till later. Don't let me forget it. All right.
I won't, because Ash just dropped a card, and I'll throw it in the slides.
Oh, did he? Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hold, because you know what's going to happen is like we're going to brag about this, and then it's going to not happen.
Well, we'll just say
Be careful.
We'll just say that it's in the works, and this is what we want to happen.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Just for fun.
I'll put it at the end of the next week on UHM.
All right. So there's such a teaser. You guys got to wait.
Yeah.
Stay till the end of the show.
It's a good one, though.
But now, the big German discussion. We're going to find out about Mama Moody and what's happening with her. And right, you guys take it away. Let me see if I can put you. So Marcus, start us off, and I'll get you guys in a shot.
Yeah. Yes, you may have heard it. Mama Mutti, as John says, or Angela Merkel in Germany. She decided to give up her position, her office as the leader of the party. And of course, this is the first indicator that she won't be not very long, or not that long anymore, our chancellor. And she also decided that she would not run again in 2023 when we would have our next elections. And this is the end of an era, and we will see how her era would be judged in history, and what she accomplished and what she did not accomplish. In my opinion, it is the result is very, very different. You know, on the one hand, I got to say I was never a real fan of Merkel. I think she made some things very good. This was the refugee crisis, where she opened the borders, which was a thing of humanitarianism, and no other choice, in my opinion. When she decided to drop out of nuclear energy, we can talk about the circumstances why she came to this conclusion, but she did it finally. And these are one of the things she did right, in my opinion. A lot of other things she was, in my opinion, too hesitant, or didn't even cared for those matters, for those issues which people would like to have cleared, or to be brought into a certain condition. There was nothing coming from her, and well, we will see. On the other hand, what concerns her international performance, I think she was important for Germany. She was no one who put herself in the first place. She is a scientist. she watched and observed a lot of things, and she was none of those politicians who put herself in the first place. And we will see who her followers would act like this. And Björn, what do you say about Angela Merkel, her decision to leave, and what is your resume of her era?
Well, starting off with her resume would be probably she was like what John said, Mama Muti. It was more like the mother of the nation, always calm, always you could turn to her to make everything right in a calm way, and that's her image. I have a little bit different view of her. She was very, very indecisive, and the only thing that she really cared about, in my mind, was being chancellor. And there was one of the most famous political comedians in Germany, Volker Pispers, always said she was always just waiting for the public opinion to form and then just slip through the sideway in front of us and follow me, I know where we're going. That's Merkel basically in the years 2005 to 2011. That's her early years. In the later years, she just enjoyed being chancellor, and I thought you could see that in every decision that she made, except maybe for the refugee crisis. I thought she was put on the spot there. She had to make a decision, and if you remember, at that time there were thousands and thousands of people at those train stations welcoming those refugees, and I think she really thought that would be the main reason, or the main way we Germans would think about it, and plus I think it really showed her humanity. That she opened the gates and opened the borders to let those people in. I think she's basically the living example for having like a limited terms of being a chancellor or being a president, whatever. We had 16 years of Helmut Kohl. If she would complete her term to 2021, she would have 16 years. And you just see with Kohl, you see with her, just at least one term too long, maybe even 2 terms too long. And I think that's one of the main things we would have to look at here in Germany to limit those terms that the chancellor would have.
Yes, and we got to say that in Germany people are more and more unhappy with Merkel and unsatisfied with her, and she can do whatever he wants. She would not change this opinion anymore. There is no chance to change anything. And then you got to see the government. It's the Social Democrats and the Conservatives, the CDU. They don't come not very good along, and this has some reasons based in the other party, the sister party, CSU, with Horst Seehofer and all the stuff what happened there. We talked about this in a few weeks ago. And all this made the people not trust her anymore. And then, of course, you have the right-wingers party, the AfD, which is making constantly noise against Merkel, and including defamation campaigns and. Well, all this change the political world here in Germany, and Merkel is a dinosaur of the old scenery, of the old political scenery in Germany, as I would say it. And okay, let's talk about why this decision came suddenly. It came nearly out of nowhere. It was big news here. We got to say it. There were 2 elections in the past 2 weeks. One was in Bavaria with the CSU, the sister party, which lost big time. And they're still in government with another coalition. They have to do a coalition. This is one of the rare occasions where they had to do this. Normally, they are governing in Bavaria alone. They have not to build anything there. And the next one was last Saturday, and in Hesse, and they're also the same picture. The Conservatives lost big, the Social Democrats also, and it was clear that this situation could not hold strong any longer, and this decision was, in my opinion, it was a good decision. It came too late, as Björn said, and in the end, she had the action in her hand. You know, she didn't wait until it was too late to make such a step. You know, and in the end, it was at the latest time the clever move to do this. Like
so,
this,
you both like her, huh? You both in general?
No, I don't like her.
I don't. Hold on. I don't like her politics. You know, I told you about the exemptions. What I liked about her, but what I definitely like about her is that this woman is not corrupt. Not at all. And we won't find her again in any business thingy. I could imagine that she said, okay, I'll stay home. I'll make a good life with my husband. She is this kind of personality. And I would miss this personality. Not her as a politician, but this personality in politics. You know,
so she's an honorable neoliberal because you were selling weapons like we were. You know, you're just the old kind where like, oh, this is bad. We should stop selling weapons for a while because optics, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the other side, of course.
Like the people at the gates, you know, the optics. She let them in. On the other hand, we've got people 2,000 miles away, and Trump's ready to, 15,000 troops at our border doing nothing. You know, so I guess if you were to compare there, Moody's awesome. By comparison, we'll take her.
And even Björn is a social democrat, so he's. I think he cannot be a big fan of Angela Merkel.
No,
I'm kidding.
That's like saying you like Hillary Clinton, right?
I know that Björn is an honest guy who has his opinion. But what I want to say is, you don't have to forget that Angela Merkel, though she is so hesitant and slow, she led us through a big crisis, and we came quite well out of this crisis, the financial crisis. This is one point. In contrary to other countries, I see that Björn is frowning his head. In contrary to other countries, it was not great, but it was okay how she managed this.
She actually,
and now Björn is slaughtering me for this.
Actually, I think that her acting in the financial crisis, I wouldn't. First of all, the actions that the government took in the financial crisis were actually Per Steinbrück from the SPD, who did the main part about that. But she, all things that I criticized about her, that she was maybe too reluctant and too calm, and that was really the big positive in the financial crisis, because as everybody was panicking, she was kind of like a steady rock, just where people could lean on and just stay calm, and everything's going to be fine. That's the picture that she put out there, and I think that's what helped basically more than any government program would have.
Yes. And you're absolutely right. She is no person. She's no person which tends to hysteria, And this is important, especially in those days, where we have so many crazy guys around.
Yeah, I gave her that.
All right, so who replaces her, and is that good or bad?
Yeah, okay. First we got to introduce quickly the three now upcoming candidates. We have Jens Spahn, who is the New York Times says about him, he's anti-Merkel. He is anti-Merkel indeed. He's more into the right wing of the CDU, with strange connections to Austria, to the very right wing government. And then we have Friedrich Merz, who was once kicked by Merkel. I think it was the beginning of the 2000s.
2002.
Did you say kicked? Like physically kicked?
No, not physically. He was kicked out of the party. There was too much. There was the differences between them were too big that Merz took the consequences and said, okay, he would leave the party and go into the private business, and which he did. He has a lot of positions in offices in lots of big companies. Among others, he is big in Blackstone, and we can call him what he is. He's a lobbyist, and he is now again one of the big choices to take over the party elite.
Mini Merkel. I see Mini Merkel. Is this the one is this her successor? Is the one she'd like to see?
Yes, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer is a child of Merkel, and she is supposed to follow her. This was rumored to be the plan of Merkel for quite a time. And yeah, Björn, what do you say to those candidates? What are the chances? What do you say?
Well, if we start with Jens Spahn, he's 38, so he's actually quite a young guy. But he got noticed on the political scene in 2015 with this refugee crisis, and his first book was about not letting people in. And he is really, if he would be her, basically Merkel's successor, that would mean really a shift to the right for that party, for the conservatives. He had a meeting with John Bolton, I think 3 weeks ago.
Oh, icky.
Yeah. So that's where you're actually heading with Jens Spahn.
No, that's not good.
In the John Bolton type of right-wing nut job sphere.
Crazies.
Anybody willing to hang out with John Bolton, we don't want anywhere near an office.
Yeah, exactly. Merz, he is basically your neoliberal banker. He was I think it's BlackRock, the biggest hedge fund in the world. That's where he headed the German operation for that. He's known for cutting Social Security. He's known for being basically he's a loudmouth. He always has been, and but a neoliberal loudmouth who is not that dumb actually. But the problem really was he thought he could just this hunchback woman Merkel, he could just roll over her, and she just basically beat him, just let him talk, and he talked himself out of politics.
Did he call her a hunchback or something? Is that like his thing?
Well, I mean, have you looked at Merkel?
No, I guess
never. She's not. I mean, there. Look at Maggie Thatcher. That's like kind of like a very strong personality. Then you have people who have a lot of grace, and then you have people who have just no.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would not necessarily agree to this. Okay. In my opinion, this judgment is too harsh. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, you guys are hilarious.
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, Kramp-Karrenbauer, she's the only one with government experience. She was the governor of the second smallest, I think it's the second smallest state in Germany, the Saarland. She was the governor there for 7 years, actually, and she was very well liked by the people there. She is basically Merkel in a nutshell, in a younger version. She talks awkwardly like Merkel. She is basically very similar to her, but she's smart. Like I said, she was a governor for that state for 7 years, and people really, really liked her. Her approval ratings were in the high 60s, so that is not that bad.
Is she going to run on the mini Merkel ticket?
No.
I mean, she should. It's just like...
I don't think... No. She's going to run as herself, and I think she has the credentials to do that. Like I said, if you're the governor in one state for 7 years and your approval ratings are very high, what more credentials do you need?
The question would also be, in my opinion, what the party wants now. Are they really that wary of Merkel and her politics? And is it too much load for Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer to carry? To be connected with Angela Merkel? This would be the question we would see in the next coming weeks and months.
Yeah, if I could make a prediction here, I think that Jens Spahn is going to drop out very soon. Because he made a deal with Merz, and that you have basically the shift, the smaller shift to the right with Merz, going back to kind of like neoliberal thinking. Banking is good, cutting Social Security, deregulation, privatization, all those things, and then you have the Kramp-Karrenbauer, which is basically the go forward, but not too much in it. If too much in a different direction, maybe just a slight go in just a little bit younger, maybe. That's what Merkel really probably lost. She lost a lot of young people here because of their old ways. Karen Bauer, she is 53, I think, 56.
Really?
Yeah, about
wow.
this, yeah,
she looks a lot younger.
She does.
So, I mean, who's the danger here?
When she talks.
Who's the danger? So if the Jens guy drops out, and then by the way, we had a much nicer Fred Mertz over here. I don't like your Fred Mertz.
A danger. I don't know if I would talk about a danger. It would, as I said, it would change the political scenery here in Germany. You know, because if you see that under Merkel, the CDU moved quite a good piece to the left side. You know, this would be changed. You cannot deny this, Björn, because the CDU took a lot of positions from the SPD. This is why the SPD is one part why the SPD is not doing well. You know,
I mean that is one of our private discussions, really. That I think that everybody but Merkel moved to the right, and that's why it seems like she moved to the left.
Huh.
But
that happens here all the time.
I don't know. If I compare the CDU with the party of Helmut Kohl and Angela Merkel, then it's clearly put to the left.
Yeah, I think that Kohl politics right now seem to be left-wing politics. If you look at Norbert Blüm.
In parts I can agree, but this would go too far.
All right.
Okay, this is your point. Anyway, but you got to see the scenery will change. The CDU would get more conservative right now.
Yeah.
With Merz or Jens Spahn, and I think even Karrenbauer, because the party would want to another direction, a more right-way direction. And on the other hand, this could be also helpful for the SPD if they find the right tactics, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah.
If not, the Green Party would grow even bigger. You know?
To me, as a member of an opposing party, actually, Friedrich Merz would be a dream candidate. I mean, I would love to do some campaigning against him, because that's really easy to find.
Yes.
So is that what it's going to end up being, or do you think other people will enter the race? Is this just it? No. Is this the field?
That's it.
It is possible, but not likely.
Okay, so it's Annegret against Fred.
Big governor, the biggest state in Germany, who was people wondered if he would enter the race, but Armin Laschet, that's the state where Markus is from, actually. But he already declined. He said he's not going to do it. And if he's not going to do it now, I think he's 62 or 63. If he's not going to do it now, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, and the risk was too big for him to look bad by losing this thing. So he decided to drop out or not to go in.
Yeah, he's lucky enough to be governor anyhow. So
yeah, Schultz got my joke. All right, so, and everybody who wonders why this actually matters, it matters because if Germany heads towards Nazi, imagine if they did a round two. They've got experience. We're like floundering over here with our Nazi, but if Germany went farther right, and it's not going to happen. You know, what we didn't report on last week is or did we, Marcus, was how many people rose up against the Nazis in Germany. There was quite a big uprising out there. But it's good to see. We need to see more countries go left. Go left, not move any farther right in my view.
And we don't know where it leads. It might be a big help also for the Green Party, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it is not said that the Democrat, that the Christian Democrats, the conservatives, with one of those guys would be successful. You know?
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you, Bill. Fred Mertz was a much better New York landlord than Trump. He was. You guys don't know our Fred Mertz, probably.
No.
Good God.
No.
I couldn't, since you guys got everything translated. I Love Lucy. It would have been hilarious for you guys. Holy shit!
I've heard of that show. So.
Yeah, I heard of it.
Wow, a whole nother time.
Fred Mertz was one of the main characters.
Yes, he was. All right, thank you guys for that German update. That was lovely. Appreciate that information.
Welcome.
You want to talk about? You could talk about Tim Canova if you want, Laura Live. Okay. Do you want?
Yes.
I got the video loaded too, so you could just talk about Tim, and then we could run the video from Matt.
Love to hear
quick.
But
what can we say about Tim other than, oh my God, we got to get Debbie Wasserman Schultz out there, and Tim is poised to do it, and he's certainly one of them. Be following on Tuesday night.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Halloween is not long ago.
She gets scarier, you know, the closer we get. Play the video.
I'll play the video.
About Merkel. Oh my.
Yeah, so Tim is a badass. I don't know why Bernie didn't endorse, but we all know that we don't need Bernie's endorsement to win races anymore. But Tim has been doing Florida justice and trying to get rid of DWS. I do not know why Florida still likes Debbie Wasserman Schultz, or I don't know why the Dem Party. Well, I know why the Dem Party likes Debbie. She's good at rigging stuff. Anyway, we want to help Tim. Florida needs a lot of freaking help. You know, Tim stopped working with the Dem campaign, went independent, and he's just been kicking ass. And I really appreciate all the work he's done. We're going to run this video for him. You know, if you could donate to his campaign, if you can do any of the things you can do with social media, with electronics, you can do text banking, you can phone banking, you can do all sorts of stuff to help his campaign. I urge you to do it. It would be great to get an independent who's really a Bernie-crat. He doesn't really care about party. He cares about the people, and I'd love to see Tim get in there. I donated $27 of your money that came to me to Tim yesterday because I was like, you know, they're neck and neck. And if the slanted MSM polls showed that they're neck and neck, then my guess is Tim's actually in the lead. So I want to see, because those polls are shit. So I want to see Tim get rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The Democratic Party will never heal, will never move forward until we eliminate every corrupt piece of shit that's in the party and that ruined Bernie Sanders' campaign in 2016. And just for the record, please, everybody, stop mentioning or forwarding Paul Krugman's content. Paul Krugman is a Hillary shill. He's just a fucking propagandist, and none of his content means shit. He's one of those guys who's trying to show up as a fucking crusader now, and it's like, fuck you, Paul Krugman. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about the closed captions, Melissa. Can you tell? Okay, let's watch this Tim video. Here we go.
A bombshell. Booze for Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Caught red-handed sabotaging a grassroots campaign.
She helped rig a primary against Bernie Sanders.
Cheating Americans on behalf of who?
She's been taking millions of dollars from the biggest corporations.
Big pharma, payday lenders, Wall Street banks, fossil fuel industry, even private prison companies. We need to get away from money in politics. It's the only way the system's going to change.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz has a challenger.
Law professor Tim Canova was endorsed by Bernie Sanders.
We're for Medicare for all. She's against Medicare for all. We are for ending this drug war.
She opposed medical marijuana. We want a ban on fracking.
She pushed for offshore drilling.
We stand for election integrity.
She rigged the democratic process.
If she's doing that to Bernie, just imagine what she's trying to do to you.
She won the primary and kept her seat in Congress.
But we had our doubts about the final numbers.
Tim filed a lawsuit to inspect the ballots, but after he filed the lawsuit, the paper ballots were destroyed.
Why would somebody be violating the law to destroy ballots?
This is a big fucking deal.
A judge making the stunning decision that the election chief unlawfully destroyed ballots in the Tim Canova, Debbie Wasserman Schultz Democratic primary.
She's rigging the presidential election, now her own election.
And nobody got in trouble, nobody goes to jail.
I reached out to all of the Democratic Party officials in the state to join us in calling for an investigation, and none responded. And the silence was just deafening. It was really the last straw for me with the Democratic Party.
In my office, one of the posters is of Sir Michael Jordan. Yeah, the basketball player. I started shaving my head when I realized I wanted to be like Mike. He says 150 times I had the ball with a second left and I shot and I missed and I failed. Each time I failed, I failed, I failed. And that's why I succeed. And this movement has been knocked off its feet, time and time again. Everyone gets knocked on their butt a lot of times. The test of character is getting back up on your feet.
He's tired of the Democratic establishment cheating him, and he's decided to run as an independent.
Against Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
A rematch.
We're going back at her. We want to finish this job that we started.
And we've got to make sure the votes get counted properly this time. We've got a whole team of election integrity experts to make sure Wasserman Schultz cannot steal this election. She calls herself a progressive, but it's not progressive if it's not progress for all. Jobs for all, Medicare for all.
He's taking her on again. And unlike Debbie, he's doing it without any corporate money.
Not now, not ever. This isn't about Democrats versus Republicans. It's about basic integrity versus corruption at this point, whether we have a democracy or not.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz is for corporate powers, corporate interests. I'm for the people. I'm fighting to make this country a better place. It's a whole new ballgame, a whole new race now. Fight on.
Everybody go to timcanova.com, volunteer or donate.
The time is now for Debbie Wasserman Schultz to step aside.
I'm voting for Tim
because he fights and cares for the middle class.
To protect our Florida water.
Tim Canova.
I'm all in for Tim.
He's against fracking.
He's not beholden to any special interests or corporate greed.
Get Tim Canova elected.
Up to Florida to turn the page on Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Let's do it.
Boom.
This is okay. I know that Tim Canova is independent now, but this is what I call balls. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is exactly what the Democrats are missing.
Yeah. So this is one of the races that we're going to be watching closely on Tuesday.
Yes,
exactly.
It is. Yeah.
And it's one of our East Coast ones. So that, and so maybe I'll take a moment here just to say, because a lot of these are that we're following are people that were on with the people with us that we interviewed.
Yeah.
So Nova, obviously one, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York, Lindsey Fagan and Adrian Bell in Texas, Sarah Smith in Washington, and Randy Bryce in Wisconsin. So those are the House races that we are going to be watching most closely, but also we're counting on you in chat to throw out any local races or smaller races that are happening in real time so that we can give them a shout out as well. But that'll be fun. So Tuesday, starting at what, 6:45 Pacific?
Yeah, 6:45 Pacific.
We'll be tracking returns.
Yeah, I should probably put you and me into a thing here. Just got you on screen. Doing so lazy. Good job. I'm sitting here reading the next piece of content. Yeah, we should just move in to talk about that. We should talk about that. Let's just jump to that. We're running really late here, guys. Let's just skip the Multnomah topic, and we've kind of already touched on climate change, unless you're really digging on it. Markus.
I did put you do have the migrant caravan stuff though, and I did add one slide to the end of that, slide 43, about the Idaho school teachers.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't want to give them any fucking press. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Idaho's got a bunch of racist people. Imagine that.
Yeah. The thing that struck me about that is the picture they put up is that here it's that all these teachers dressed up, as the MAGA wall with, the alphabet printed out behind them. It's like, this is how
Yeah.
This
is
what our kids are being taught.
You guys see this shit?
Yeah. A group of school teachers dressed up as Mexicans at a MAGA wall for Halloween, and it didn't go well.
Yeah. When you talk about, again, blatant racism, and now they feel empowered to come out because they have an administration.
Elementary school level, and they're talking about this is how our kids are getting taught. This is where you learn racism. This is at the elementary school level.
Yep. And just for the record, I didn't even talk about the card.
Oh yeah.
But the card is basically where our entire media, our corporate media, is complicit in spreading the hate, in fanning the flames of hate, in growing the Nazi party in America, in allowing the Nazi admin to do what it does, because our media has failed to cut him off. And not only have they failed to cut him off, they shine a bright spotlight on him. They reap the money from ratings. Their advertisers are happy.
So they made him.
They made him. They made him more powerful. Okay. They're enjoying it until the point where now they get bombs mailed to them. There's a lot of parables there that we could hit mainstream media, but basically you reap what you fucking sow. Sorry, Melissa. And that's where we're at. Mainstream media needs to take a good hard look at itself, realize that it is part of the problem. It's not going to do that because it's controlled by corporations that don't give a shit. Right. Which is, again, why we need to work on our independent media, build it strong. In the industrial age, when this was happening the first time with the muckrakers, that's exactly what happened. People invested in independent media. The independent media became more powerful than the corporate media, and the corporate media died. We're there again, folks. We just have to do it a hell of a lot faster. We don't have an industrial revolution's worth of time to do it. Right? We don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, kind of took it off guard there. That's what Laura was talking about, which is disgusting. Yeah. It's disgusting. It's vile. I can't if a teacher, if I had a teacher that did that with my kid, I'd be in jail for beating the shit out of a teacher. I would be, Just how dare you think you can pollute my child's mind with that shit?
Yeah.
And then I would be a hypocrite and beat them up. See, that's basically what happens. That's my human nature. That's the problem. That's what we fight. I talked about this a lot when we did the Awake show, is that we have to fight that human nature. And it's so hard when you get to that level of survival. I don't want to pull out my claws. What other choice are you leaving me here? I got a ballot in one hand and a pitchfork in the other. One of these two things is going to work. Right? Do you want to talk about the umbrellas, Marcus? You really took some time to do your umbrella thing, and it's here.
Yeah.
All right, here.
It is about our stable genius again.
He's not yours. You don't get to claim him.
Unfortunately, the world shares your leader.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And you're getting rid of your good one. Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Not so bad one.
Not
anyway.
so bad one. There you go. A lesser of two evils.
Yes. Yeah. Far lesser. Yeah. We can see how Donald Trump is fighting with technique. You know, with simple technique, how to open and close an umbrella, and how to use this mean, you know, this device. And you can see he keeps his family in the rain, and he's fighting with the wind. And and there we coming to how to close an umbrella, you know. And it seems that it reminded me of another evil genius, you know. And this evil genius had major problems with rakes, you know. You might remember him from Simpsons.
Yeah.
And there we go, you know. You see? You know, another evil genius, you know, absolutely helpless with technique, with the simplest things in life. And yeah.
Sadly, I didn't get this. You had to tell me who this was. How many? Let's see, the first person who nails it in chat.
I think it's obvious. Rakes, you know, Sideshow Bob. It's, you know.
Yes, Sideshow Bob. This is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Just the side by side. It's got me. This is the president of the United States who can't close a fucking umbrella and then just leaves it there. That says more about our president than anything.
I love the tweet there. Is it weird? I feel bad for the umbrella.
Yes. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, I found it. I think, okay, I keep it in. Yeah.
Sad umbrella.
And it shows 45's attitude. You know. Yeah. He knows there's somebody coming who is taking the shit which I leave. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to care about anything.
Yeah. It's anyway. Oh, hey Laura, I got you in the shot. I'm just having fun with shots today.
I don't mind.
Guys are great.
Yeah.
It's we're almost there. We're almost out of here. Thank you, everybody. We've got 42 people watching right now. That's great.
Thank you.
People paying attention. Yeah. Just keep messing here. That's gonna. Bjorn's still in here. Thank you, Bjorn, for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Germans always improve the ratings. I appreciate that. It really works. If you guys haven't seen it, go to our website, go to our YouTube channel and play the promo that I dropped in. That doesn't mention Larry. He's probably mad at me for that. But you should do that. We're going to be covering election night, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be pretty huge. And now I'm starting to get nervous about it, because it's going back to like the old days with Scott, where we had somebody on a riser standing next to ABC, NBC. This is at the DPO Hilton. We're going to have Larry there with our fully functional live use solo with fully functional dual modems that apparently cost.
Knock on wood.
No, we've tested it. I tested it here. I tested it with Ash. Yeah, no, still not. But yeah. It's that's just me,
We are streaming in virtual reality and 4K.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
No, it's a joke.
No, we're not. 720p, 60, yes. But so we will have a separate stream that is coming just from the Hilton that'll be running on its own. We'll grab that feed when Larry and Ash are catching primary speeches or doing interviews. We have 3 volunteers helping Larry and Ash at the Hilton. We've got Lowell Wetzel and Sean Nickus, who are going to have be at a place in Salem with a bunch of other candidates, and we'll have remote them in through Zoom. We may have somebody coming in from Washington Bernie Kratz with Sarah Smith. We're trying to work that out. We may have another group coming in from Douglas County. We're trying to work that out. But we're going to have a lot of coverage. We've got Adam Klugman, although he hasn't 100% confirmed with me about this. But I think Adam Klugman is joining us to co-host. So we'll have Markus and Adam and Laura and myself, and we'll be remote into all these places. We'll have music. We'll have games. We won't have prizes. We'll have.
Hey, I've got some of those Eclipse Bernie T-shirts. We could have some prizes.
There you go. Okay.
We could have a little giveaway or something.
So maybe we'll give things. I don't know. We'll have fun. Everybody, join us for that. We'll be reporting on all the major national races, right? And as the information comes in, as we hear about our Oregonian and other West Coast candidates winning or losing, we'll bring you that information. We'll be here from 6:45-ish to whenever we feel like getting out of here, really, 9:30. And so pay attention to that. Join us for that. Please share. Please help us grow this network. Right? If you haven't donated already, please do. I thank you to everybody that picked it up in this last week. Larry was getting really freaked out. So appreciate that. And just know that my money goes to people like Tim. So I need your money to spend my money. That's basically how this works.
Cut out the middleman. Give directly to Tim.
Well, you guys could do that too. And if you want to do that and not give money here, that's fine by me. I would much rather you spend money on a candidate than on a network, right? Now, after we're done with this race, the money needs to come to the network, please.
Yes.
We can hold off on the candidates till after, till about March of 2019, and then we're going to ramp up that again because we got 2020 coming, baby. Mm-hmm. We got some people to get rid of, some big people to get rid of.
This was our practice election. Now 2020 is going to be the big show.
It is in many ways. We could be in civil war by then, but we're going to count on a democracy right now. We're going to count on democracy.
Civil war or underwater.
Yes.
But, hey.
Florida, talking to you. Talking to you, Florida. Seriously.
An underwater civil war. We'll combine the two. There you go.
I can just see all of the Confederate Merrimack people so excited right now. Yeah. We get to use our submarine. Anyway. Thank you to the few people that caught my Fred Mertz joke, by the way. Yeah. Something else we're doing. This is happening after the elections, and I've been talking about it totally wrong, and I apologize if I don't think Gene watches this show anymore. But if you are watching, Gene, I was misinformationing you. Here's the truth about this. We're not electing people right now to get rid of establishment DPO members. Right now, we're talking about nominating convention for delegates to the SEC and other roles within our local county offices so that we can prepare to depose establishment members in the DPO in March. So that's what this is about. This is about, all of your county Democratic Party offices have a reorg. And those reorgs have positions open, positions of power, delegates to the SEC, the State Central Committee, which is really what you're going for, because the delegates to the SEC get to decide on who becomes chair and all the other. They have a lot of power there. So this is working that really boring inner democracy stuff so that we can actually affect change. Right? We got to do this stuff. This is important. So join us for this. Larry sent out a bunch of information. We're going to be doing a broadcast that I haven't even begun to think about yet. That's apparently going to have a bunch of remote people showing up on a screen at the Sunnyside Community Theater again. That nightmare with Ash. I mean, that great time. So it was technically quite a challenge because we're doing it inside of a church that was designed for Gregorian times without electricity. So, but anyway, the point of the matter is, this is going to be cool, and that every state needs to do this. Every state, like your Democratic Party, whatever party you're a member of, Green Party, nominating conventions are something that the counties have, and this is where you start taking power, serious power. All right, we've learned that the hard way. So join us for that. Oh, we're at the secret.
Yeah.
See, we're at the secret.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna wait off.
The surprise.
Yeah. What did we get here? 11:25. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we're good.
First of all, I want to thank you guys for doing this show with me and for being here. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
It takes a lot of time and effort, and you're not getting paid shit. So add another 0. Please do. And
Again?
Yeah, I know. I just keep adding zeros. It's all I can do. That's all I can do is add a 0. Someday Larry's going to have to make do, and he's like, you are paying them $400 trillion a year? I'm like, yes, $400 trillion a year. That's the salary.
It's going to be a large check, you know?
Yes.
Physically, I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly, because it'll have to have space for all the zeros.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the help.
Pray for inflation.
Yes. Oh, God, don't even factor inflation. We're headed there. The hyperinflation in the United States. We're on our way.
Yeah, we also in Germany.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to beat you.
We had to pay trillions for one loaf of bread, you know.
Well, that was back then.
Back then.
Yeah, we're doing that here our way, so we're gonna do it better.
Of course.
It's gonna cost us more. Whatever we do, it's gonna cost us more. Trust me, it's gonna hurt. Thank you, everybody in the audience. Thank you for keeping us here. Because if people didn't show up for this, we wouldn't do this. Thank you for donating. Thank you for putting up with the technical errors, putting up with the things we do, sharing, being a part of the conversation, because that's how we grow a democracy. Right? I really appreciate that.
For the best show not on TV.
For the best show not on TV. There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. That's exactly
For
right.
the best show that money doesn't buy.
And to make the announcement. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. So here, and it's actually. I made a point when we started these programs to make sure it wasn't about entertainment. It's like, I don't want to be talking to anybody else in the industry for the purpose of let's all get together and chat with each other. And when we first started doing independent media, I saw a lot of these, hey, let's have you on and you have me on and we'll talk about each other and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't want to get involved with that, you know? And so I've been very reluctant to reach out to anybody else in the independent media spectrum to say, hey, let's have a conversation about things. As time went on, I realized that we really didn't fit in with that celebrity media spectrum in the independent realm, right? The Jimmy Dores and the TYTs, the Cenk Uygurs, regardless of what you think of him, right? Those are much larger entities than we are. We serve a different purpose. We're kind of focused on a lot more of the boring stuff. We don't deal with the big spotlight. But recently, I realized that we're kind of in a place to have these conversations now. And because of what's happening with media, which kind of affects everything, if we lose our means of communication, we will not win the battle of democracy. And I've seen so many things happen this year alone that have frightened me about that. And I said, we need to we need to find a way to bring these organizations together to create a hub, the Mike Wassenaar conversation, the Alliance for Community Media, all that stuff. And I thought, I'm just going to take a long shot and reach out to somebody who's been very outspoken on this and see if we can't start a conversation about what we can do as independent media. And I was very surprised when that person actually agreed to come on and have a conversation. So we are very excited to hopefully have Lee Camp, redacted tonight, in a couple Fridays after the election. We're working it out right now. It'll be some kind of a time frame that works out for him because he's back east, and we're going to have a discussion on We the People about the what do we do with independent media? How do we work together? We're going to need to form a coalition. We're going to need to stand together in order to continue to inform the electorate against corporate media. So very excited about that. And I just want to thank Lee for coming on, because you guys understand, you are his audience. It's not like this is going to do anything for Lee at all. We all watch Lee, he's doing us a favor in terms of network. I appreciate that. I look at it as great ratings, right? Mm-hmm. I'm more interested in the fact that we're going to have a conversation, and hopefully out of this conversation, we can start engaging some of the bigger network entities and independent media around this local access thing and try to build some productions and get their content. Because if we can get, Lee Camp content in local access media to the right audience, it's going to do a lot of good, right? So that's the big announcement, right, Laura?
Yeah, and it won't be at 7:00 p.m., which is we have on the card. This is a work in progress.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be early. We're targeting Friday the 16th. It'll probably be earlier in the day.
Yeah.
And I got to figure out how to work that out with my work schedule because I'm not going to fucking miss this.
Yeah.
And John has threatened to call my boss if I don't ask for the day off.
She couldn't do the Mike Wassenaar thing because of her job. And I'm like, it's Lee Camp. I'm going to call your boss. Going to have a conversation. But the problem is Laura can't lose her job because then we lose a lot of funding for UHM.
I think I am still the biggest monthly donor at my,
I don't know. Yeah,
digits.
It's so there.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Lee's going to be fun. It's going to be a great conversation, and I really appreciate him taking the time to do that. It'll be early in the day on a Friday, and we're still working out times. But we need to have this conversation. We need to have this conversation about media and move forward, regardless of where things end up. What else are you going to do?
It's all we can do.
It's all we can do.
Yeah.
All right, we're at music story time.
Yay.
Tell us about this song, Markus.
Yeah, there is not much to talk about, because I don't know this band. I don't know this song. I don't know anything about it,
I don't know. It's just some band I found. Fuck if I know.
I talked about my desperation at the beginning of the show that it's very, very hard, meanwhile, to get to find appropriate music on YouTube, which is allowed to play, to stream. And by this research, I found a band from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. And I don't know if they're still active. In my research, I found out that the last concert was in 2015 or something like this. And occasionally they seem to make gigs. As I said, they're coming from Nashville, Tennessee, and they are not doing country music. No, they are doing some kind of pop music, a little bit Cheap Trick, rocky orientated, and
nice.
Yeah, because I came on to this band is the title, Super Tuesday. I don't know. On Tuesday there is no real Super Tuesday in this sense, but it is, on the other hand, it is a Super Tuesday because it's a deciding day. In my opinion. Please go out and vote because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of important things are depending on your vote, and everyone who can go out and vote, and let's help to avoid the worst what Trump what may come into Trump's mind if he succeeds with this election, and let's work together and prevent all this, And Super Tuesday is a nice song, and I think very fitting for what's coming up. And that's all I can say. The band leader is a guy who is called Hans Rothenberry. They were playing with different musicians, and that's from my side.
Well, thank you. I love it. Thank you very much. Everybody vote, and let's help vote out Nazi Republicans, because the Germans have asked us, and they've asked nicely, and really,
yes,
come on, they're so helpful. Yes. They've been so helpful. Look at what happened with them after they we could have that, right? So let's do that. Vote, participate in your democracy. Thank you, Markus. Here we go. The Shazam Super Tuesday.
Somebody needs to set
See y'all tomorrow.
Tell you how things is. You're living on the dark side of what is. You're always talking, ready for a fall. You got your reasons, but you don't believe them at all. You're acting like you're waiting on the sympathy vote. Well, tomorrow's Super Tuesday, and the people on the news say that you're sagging in the polls. That's how it goes. Destiny's in her evening gown. You're always running late. You tell her she looks wonderful, but she'll just have to wait. Wait just like you waited when you waited for the call. Well, now you're not so certain as you stand behind the curtain with your face against the wall. Your feet are cold. This is it. The road beg. Sometimes you get to choose. Some people always win. Somebody had to lose, and it had to be you. Always something to bring you down. It's never running away. It's coming down from the heavens in some mysterious way. You get so excited hearing promises made. Well, now they're past the deadline. Hang your dreams out of the clothesline before the colors start to fade. You had it made. This is it. The road to nowhere. This is it. All you're waiting for. This is it. All you understand. All you have to give is no longer in demand. Tomorrow's Super Tuesday, and the people on the news say that you're sagging in the polls. That's how it goes.